Okay, so throughout the season, I have been posting on my Substack after the games my the good, the bad, and the ugly game reviews. Just kind of a short uh, synopsis of what I felt went right, what went wrong in the game. Like a lot of people have been doing this season. One thing that I tried to do in each one of those reviews was to highlight a play from that game that I thought either was great play design scheme or a play that resulted from great individual effort. To give you as fans who maybe aren't thinking so much about scheme a little bit of insight of how plays work, etc. And we call it our play of the game, play of the day, whatever you want to say. And I thought it would serve as a good insight into that aspect of the game. So what I've done here is I've compiled all of the plays of the game from the whole season into a single playlist. And we're just going to kind of go through these plays one more time, maybe go a little bit more detail, thinking about also maybe breaking up the telestrator on here and talking about the plays one at a time, a little more detail. So, first play we got here, this is from the Buffalo game. And what we have here is an example of what's called the dagger concept. And the key component of the dagger, and again, I don't have the field dimensions perfect enough to show everything how it's supposed to be, but essentially what the dagger is, our outside receiver is running a dig, so a deep in, and our number two receiver is running a seam. That's the key component of the dagger concept. And quarterback would be working from inside out and would be reading the safety that would be the conflict player in the between these two routes. How Phil Longo and the Badgers did a little bit differently in comparison to the standard dagger is we add the air raid mesh concept on top of it. So they'd be running mesh underneath with 2 and 3, or 3 and the backside 1. And then they're also sending a running back out in the flat. Okay, so not only do we create the horizontal stretch that we want, or the vertical stretch, excuse me, that we want with the dagger, but we also give a great underneath horizontal stretch by not only we have the mesh, but we have the flat. So this is going to make it more difficult for these outer defenders, these overhang defenders, to sag and to then take away usually the dig in the dagger concept. So that being said, we'll go here. We'll watch this. So again, this is from Buffalo, and this is the first touchdown pass to Chimere DK. So they're running a deeper concept, working that safety, and when he overcommitted to stay over top of the seam, we come underneath with the dig, and all day, every day. Quarterback footwork wise, we're going to work quick 3 footwork, stand up tall in the pocket, rip it right down the hash mark. Again, it's whoever that defender over the top of the hash mark takes, he's wrong. And nice individual effort by Chimere on top of the play to get into the end zone. And we can see we've got the mesh working here. We got both a horizontal stretch and an inside out stretch here with this defender over underneath, just in case we can't get the ball underneath. So not a bad first play. Good one to get started with here in this concept. All right, so next up we have Washington State. Okay, so this play is a little bit more about individual effort, but this also has some pretty good play design. So what they're going to be running here is going to be running an X shallow. So we're running our X receiver here, shallow. Again, don't worry so much about the depth right now because we're showing on this angle. Okay, and then with the remaining receivers, we're running motion across here, and then when we go with the tight end, when he gets here, he's going to be wheeling up the sideline and creating the outer threat. And then we're going to be running crossers here and then working across to the pylon and into the end zone. And then our outside deep receiver here, he's going to be working vertically as well. And then he's going to be pushing across, looking to get in the deep hole, usually to start, and getting across the middle. Again, it's hard to show the correct depths, but you kind of get the basic concept here. So off of the play action, which is what they're going to be doing first, we're going to have our eyes down low first for the shallow. And then when we get these players coming downhill with the motion, as we can see, trailing defenders coming across, most likely we're going to have man. We're holding up for the play action, and then we're going to read high-low for the crosser and then the dig. Now, what the individual effort of this play comes out is Tanner Mordecai breaking the pocket after both our tackles, or two of our linemen get beat. Huber gets beat on the kick out, and then Jack Nelson gets beat inside. But great individual, great catch by Skylar. As much as he has been ragged on this year, he did have his moments, and this is certainly one of them. So working across the depth, and you could see both Skylar and Bryson Green are working at the same level, but they're running the routes from different angles. So that creates a horizontal stretch between the defenders sitting over the top, if there is one. And just great ball. Putting the ball only in a spot where our guy can get it. Look at it one more time before we move on. Again, great individual effort. Only a spot only where our guy can get it. Nice job. Okay, so moving on. This is Georgia Southern. And in the Georgia Southern game, took a little while for us to get going, obviously. But this play here is a great example of a package play, which is another variation of a run-pass option. Run-pass option, is a variation of a package play. And package play is just that. It's two plays packaged together. So in this particular case, we're working outside zone in the box here. Okay, outside zone, outside zone, outside zone here. Okay, and then we're working just a basic bubble screen between these three players here. And so what we're looking at here pre-snap is what kind of leverage we're getting pre-snap based on alignment. If we have bad leverage outside, then we're not even thinking outside. If we have good leverage outside, okay, then we're going to look to see who's in charge of this receiver right here amongst these defenders for the idea to get it in or out. So right now in this particular case, we're going to have 3 over 3. We're going to have 1, 2, and then one of these two guys is going to be the 3 over 3. So if this defender comes in, now we are 3 over 2, and we have the advantage. So, and even if he inserts in the box, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 5 blockers here. We've got the read and we've got the quarterback. We have enough bodies. So let's look at this here. Okay, so right now Georgia Southern is presenting 6 in the box. Right here. We can block 5. The 6th we can make miss here. Okay, so we have a runnable box if we get a bad look on the outside. So if this defender out here decides to come, that's where the bubble comes. If he sits, the box is good enough. Even though we're -1, we can even it out with the quarterback, but -1, we can still make that guy miss with the running back. So let's look at how they adjust pre-snap. Okay, so he steps out, but he's flat-footed. So when he comes, that lets us know it's like, okay, we're 2/2 here, 3/3 if we're counting the safety who's 12 yards deep. This is good leverage. And he knows it right away. We want to get the ball right out quick, put it in a nice spot where he doesn't have to turn much to get upfield. And now we're 2 for 2 here, and then we make the third guy miss. Okay, and the third guy is coming from depth. So by the time he gets there, we're 16 yards downfield. Okay, so again, a little bit of miscommunication here makes it easy to make this decision. Great blocks here on the outside is what springs it. And then Will Pauling finishes the play. Again, box-wise, even if we decided to go, I still like the cutback. You probably could have cut it right up the middle there if we decided to keep it. But it's all about simplifying the odds. We like this look that when he steps in and he decides to come, that we have the angles here to get outside and get an easy 5 yards before anything happens. And when you have an athlete like Will Pauling out there, he can turn a pitch and catch into easy yards. And that's exactly what we do here. And we get it inside the 5, which sets up a score right after this. Okay, so moving on. This is Purdue. Okay, so this play, it's a pretty simple concept. It's verts. And the verts are set up by the 2 outside routes to start. So we've got Chim right here on an outside release, going vertical for the fade, making sure that we're leaving some space out here so we can fade the ball outside the numbers. Okay? And then at top of screen, CJ Williams is also going to be on a vert. Okay? They're running single high right now because they're going to rotate this guy down, and there's going to be a safety sitting on the top over here. Okay? To help hold that guy, we're going to be running a deep crosser, hard seam, whatever you want to call it here, with Will Pauling. And that's basically going to divide the safety. It could have caused any kind of hesitation, especially if he's watching the QB's eyes. And then, again, to make sure we don't have anything sagging, we have our number 2 receiver down here just running a hitch, just right in there. Okay, so it's a super basic concept, but QB is going to read best leverage across the field. Okay, and he likes the leverage we have out here because we have more space to get the ball to the outside. CJ would have to win this one-on-one real quick off the line, restack his corner to give any kind of space to get out here. That's a harder ball. Here, Chimere can work to the outside, still get caught up, and as long as he doesn't get pushed outside the numbers by the time he gets to the top of his route, we still have space. And then if the safety over the top, if he hesitates or anything like that, easy ball over the top. If he runs over the top real quick because we see the vert ball, then we're working here or working here, and then we've got our outlet down here. All right, so let's take a look at it. Okay, and again, this is an adjustment. We're seeing the coverage, we're seeing the single high, and we're seeing that this safety guy is rotating down in the box already, and he's looking for the crosser. See, he's looking for Pauling coming across, and that just means we're isolated right here. So we're just looking for the whole shot. He wants this ball the whole way. And stick the foot in the ground. Great spot. Okay, and that's why we don't want him to get too close to the sideline and too far outside the numbers before the ball's thrown, because this gives the quarterback a lot of room to throw this ball outside in a spot where, again, where only our receiver can get it. And that's where we get it. 3 yards from the sideline. All right, so again, we look one more time. We can look at QB's footwork here. Again, they see something in the alignment. They see something in the blitz look that they're giving. know that as long as this safety out here hesitates even for a millisecond, we can get the ball out. Quick 3 footwork, set it over the top, and again, safety's too late. Nothing we can do. Easy catch inside the 5-yard line. Moving on. And now here we are with Rutgers. Okay, so with this play against Rutgers, this is a great way to use the personnel package that we have in the game to create mismatches and to also go against type. Okay, and what I mean by going against type in this situation is, so in this case, we're in 13 personnel. Okay, we got 3 tight ends, okay, on the ball tight end, wing tight end, actually lined up more like an H-back, fullback, and then we've got a tight end out here. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to set strong edge, basically showing that we're probably want to run outside zone or power right here at this spot. Okay, you can already see the defense is calling out and they're adjusting themselves accordingly. And so what we do is we then, again, play against type. We're going to see this crack motion here. And again, we're expecting that crack, maybe run some kind of pin and pull. Again, get it right around the outside to the edge. When you got a guy like Braylon Allen, that's what we can expect. But what we end up doing is we basically end up running one of the most bog standard air raid plays, and that's mesh. Okay, so we're going to run, again, CJ Williams underneath here on a shallow mesh, crossed here. And honestly, his job here is more to create a pick and to create traffic for the routes coming underneath. From this side, we've got the tight end here. He's going to be running to the back of the end zone, and he's going to be working across. He's going to be our hole player, and he's going to be our secondary option. Okay, and our number one option in this play is going to be our tight end here, Ashcraft, motioning down and then running the mesh across here and getting into space over here. And then we have a flat route from the other tight end for just in case as an outlet. So we're going to be working mesh to dig and maybe outlet, but it's really going to be more mesh to dig. All right, so let's run through this. So we're going to get the short motion, crack motion, sell it, run in the wake of the defensive lineman, create space, throw the ball over the top. Simple concept, easy to, I like the pass protection on this too. The full slide. And again, it's really, you got to be really trusting there that your running back is going to step up and pick up that extra guy coming across in the play action. And does that pretty good job. Ashcraft gets across. And all set up here by CJ running good traffic interference. Again, there's a lot of bodies down in here because they're expecting run. Create traffic, throw the ball up, let your tight end get it. It can be that easy sometimes. All right. And here we are with Iowa. And not a lot of great things happen in the Iowa game. But this play here is again another example of good play design. So this is another package play. And what we have here is the 2 pet plays in the package, or there might be 3, because I'm assuming this guy out here has an outlet route, is, again, we're running bubble screen out here, 3-man bubble, and then we're going to run a shovel pass, draw shovel inside here. Okay, so what we're reading is we're reading initial leverage to let us know how quickly we need to get the ball out here, because it's going to be an either or kind of thing. Okay, so in this case here, we're 4/3, but we have a light box. We have a 5-man box, and we have 5 here, 6 including the running back. So already 4 versus 3 outside. We don't like this. 5/5 or 5/6. we like this in the box. So this, as a package play, this is pretty easy. As if we want to read it like an RPO, then we're just going to watch what this guy does. And as soon as he widens, we know we want to get it inside. And nice job by Tanner Bordelli picking up his guy. And then after this, this just turns into a great effort play by Braylon. Okay, so nice design, but great job running him over there. Nice feet. Trips himself up a little bit, but yeah, we'll take it from the top. So again, as soon as this guy widens, we know we've got 5 versus 4 in the box, basically. We had a clean shot to the second level. And then Braylon turns a 4-yard gain, first down, into, I believe this was an 11-yard gain once we get in there. So good job. And nice job by the offensive line to sell, pass, and then for Bordelli to work upfield, getting up on that linebacker and able to sprint this for some more yards. So nice job there. All right, moving on. Illinois. Okay, so this is another example of going a little bit against type, or a little bit against what we've been doing most of the season. So the majority of this play looks a lot like stuff we've run all season. Okay, so outside receiver here, we're just going to run a vert, go ball here. Number 2 receiver, we're going to be running a shorter cross. And then outside receiver here, we're going to be running a short or a skinny post. Okay, so, and then our tight end here is just going to be running the flat over there. Okay, so, and then normally what we do with the running back in this situation is the running back will either come out and run a bubble swing, or they'll come up and they'll run flat. Those are the 2 most common routes we've seen from the running back all season. And in this case, we went against that. And that's what sprung this. And I was hoping that we were going to see something like this, because we saw it. If you paid attention at the Badgers Wired segment that came out this week that's featuring Braylon, we saw him run this route. And I was waiting to see it, and we sure did. All right, so what he's going to be working here, he's going to be working to the line of scrimmage, and then instead of breaking out, and again, he's going to run more inside, but I'm showing you here to create this a little bit easier to see. He's going to be running what we call a Texas route, or an angle route. So he's coming in behind the shallow cross, cross. Okay, and we're working these linebackers in here. What we're hoping is this route here is going to occupy eyes and bodies, so we can come behind with the Texas route on essentially a follow concept. All right, so let's see how this develops, and we look where Brainlock's eyes are in this case, and see how he can use eye manipulation, and that's what working the flat to the shallow, or to the crosser. It's not really a shallow. Flat to the crosser to the Texas. And again, he's seen him get to the line of scrimmage all year. He thinks he's going to break out, but he breaks in underneath. Nice little subtle change. Line, in, quick ball, nice gain. And you don't have to be a scat back to get involved with the passing game if you can run nice little routes like this. Just enough to keep them honest. And that's what we do there. All right, moving on. Ohio State. So this play here, again, is a combination of nice play design, but fantastic individual effort. And so what we're going to be running here is we're going to be running speed option action. So we're going to come down here, attacking the line of scrimmage in a speed option. And we do it pretty quickly. And then we're going to run fake stalks here, and he basically runs his guy off. Okay, and then from there, we're going to start working a crosser concept. So this is going to be very similar to what we saw earlier in the year to Skyler against Washington State, where we had him work across underneath. We had a dig coming behind, and then we had a vertical ball coming out here from the motion. That's essentially what we're getting here. So we're going to fake our stalks, and then Pauling here, he's going to be working to the end zone. Tight end basically is working probably to the line of scrimmage, or to the why is my brain not working? The goal line. They're going to be working in, or he might take it a little more this way, and then outside's releasing out. So that's the concept. And we're working to divide the safeties up here, okay, the off defenders, and we're trying to get the ball in the space here. And then we're also going to be running, again, like we did against Washington State, we're going to be running the shallow. And that's probably where the eyes are supposed to be going first, quick, and then work the divider concept up top. But just like Washington State, our progression gets mixed up by penetration from the defense, but Braden does a good job. So see, he's working through his progression, not there, stepping up. And then Will Pauling is keep working across, back behind, and trying to get as much depth as he can find in the soft spot. And you can see that Nowakowski here, he runs more of a post, kind of getting underneath the goal post, and then we're working across here. And so great individual effort, if I could talk clearly. This is a play that when you see the sideline angle, he's looking at Nowakowski and he's throwing to Pauling. But sell the speed option, sell the toss, and pitch it back on the crosser. Great play. One of the best throws I've seen a Badger quarterback make. Okay, next up we have Indiana. And, like I said in the breakdown of that game, in the short that I made recently, not a lot went right in this game, but at least this play did. Okay, so this kind of feeds off. This is another variation a little bit on that Texas concept that we saw Braylon running in the last game. And what we end up doing here is taking the first option. So we're running inside trips. Okay, so what we're going to be running is we're going to be running Z shallow or Z cross, whatever you want to call it, across here. We're going to be running a dig here, and then we've motioned across, and then Pauling here he's going to be running basically the Texas route, the follow route. So he's going to be stepping out, and then he's going to be looking to get back inside over the top, and we're going to read how they pick up outside here, and then receiver here, he's going to be running either a short fade or a short corner. All right. So this is the basic concept. We motion across, we see how they adjust to the motion, and then we're going to be reading shallow to dig to follow. And let's see how we read it. Okay, and we just get it quick, real quick to the shallow. And then the individual effort takes over, and Bryson takes it to the house. Hey, that's a real quick decision. He likes it. He got real lucky. He didn't hit the umpire. But I think he liked what he saw pre-snap, that the corner out here, we can stop it here at the top, has outside leverage. So Bryson's going to get a pretty clean release. And it's all going to depend on how these linebackers react. And they're stepping downhill because they're blitzing. So that's easy pitch and catch. Boom. Trying to get, it's 3rd and 8. Trying to get a few yards and get it in a short 4th down, maybe get a situation to go for it. But instead we spring it. and we take it to the house. So again, quick feet. We see the pressure coming. We know we got good leverage outside. Just get rid of the ball quickly and let Bryson take care of the rest. Touchdown. About the only thing that went right in that game. All right, and another situation where one of the few things that went right in this game, and this is against Northwestern. Okay, so in this case, this is a variation on the Yankee concept that you see a lot of the Shanahan school, Sean McVay run in the NFL right now. So what we're essentially running is a variation on double post, but what we're sending here is we're sending a post, and then we're sending a crosser. But instead of running a cross like we have normally been doing this season, once he gets past the linebacker, he's going to jet up the sideline. And maybe that's not exactly the best spot for that. Maybe it's a little bit more like this. But he jets up so we can divide out here. And that creates a nice little, takeoff space for Pauling to get through. Backside, we're just going to run again. Just going to run a short post. And we're going to run play action, and then we're going to put the running back in the flat. So we're creating levels. Okay, 1, 2. We're creating high, low, and we're creating inside out. So a lot of great options here on this. So let's see how we're reading this. So play action, defender comes downhill because he sees play action, inserts. So we know we're creating space underneath. And then it just comes down to, is Pauling faster than what he's running against? And he sure is. And that creates the space. Also here, the defender that's tracking him has to run over the linebacker, and that's why he creates a lot more space for him to turn up there and get a decent gain. Too bad it was in a situation where we're already down 21-3 in a game that we'd all like to forget. But nice play nonetheless. All right, Nebraska. Okay, so again, this is a nice play that we're going against type, and we're going against what we've been doing all season, and that's changing how we're using the running back in the passing game. So throughout most of the season, again, we've all complained about it. The running backs have been running basically either flats, swings, and we saw in the Illinois game, we saw a Texas route, but not doing much different. Okay, so here what we're running is we're running play action, but then we're sending the running back up the sideline on the wheel, okay? And we're running a cross wheel concept. So we're going to be running backside here. Going to be running a crosser, okay, at or behind the linebackers. We want these guys to have to sag. We want to influence this guy enough so he has to step inside. Receivers over here are just going to run corner and out. Okay, and this is a secondary option. This is probably reading leverage. And we don't necessarily like what we have here, 1, 2, but we like the spacing that we get out here. So we're going to run play action. We're also going to be running an influence pull to set up the edge on the backside. And then we're going to be running the running back through the line and then up the sideline for the wheel. And it's real easy for him to get lost. And that's exactly what happens. He does get lost. Okay, play action, working around, going outside, instead of through the line, and there's nobody there. And again, it creates a natural, almost like a pick, because this linebacker here has to respect the crosser because he's thinking seam curl flat. That's not even a linebacker. That is a defensive lineman dropping in coverage on a zone blitz, and we're going to win that every time, and that's exactly what Jackson did there. So nice job. Play action, little semi-roll, come back. He knew he was going there all the way. Touchdown. And the last one that we have here for this video is actually 2 plays. And it is, I haven't featured very many run plays on this because, again, scheme-wise, the running game doesn't have to get that fancy. And in our system, inside zone, outside zone, power, that's about it, draw. But what I want to be able to highlight is good individual effort and then a good job, the best example of how we run the ball. And that's what we got here. So we're in a basic 3-by-1 set, and we're just running G lead, but this is just great individual effort by Braylon. And again, a game, he was hurting late in the year. He was banged up. But this is just a great example of how it can work. So down blocks, pull across. Fertney doesn't do much. He kind of, he more gets in the way. But Braylon just keeps his legs churning. He couldn't cut very well for a big chunk of the season, but he could pound his legs. He knew this one hurt a little bit, but he kept working. Okay, got to the second level, and then strong legs pushed him through the second and onto the third, and then the breakout. He gets the ball inside the 5, which then sets up, again, the next play on this is we can't show one with the other. So Braylon can finish this off. Split flow inside zone. And what I really always love about split flow is it will cause these guys out here, especially in the game where we're running stuff to the flat out here, it causes this defender to hesitate, creates a natural cutback lane. And if you give Braylon a cutback lane, he'll fall forward for 3 yards. That's exactly what he did there. So, touchdown. Okay, so that is the good, the bad, and the ugly plays of the day from the regular season. I haven't done one for the ReliaQuest Bowl yet. I did an hour and a half recap of the ReliaQuest Bowl. Don't think we need to go into one play in particular. But if any of you guys have a particular play that you want me to break down in more detail, I'm certainly willing to do that. But thought we'd get another one out here. Again, kind of looking at the season as a whole, looking at some of our favorite play designs, our favorite individual efforts from the offensive side of the ball. Going through the offseason, I think we might get into a little bit more detail with some scheme and to better help the casual fan know what they're looking at when they get out on the field or when they're watching a game, and maybe focus their eyes a little bit more on what's going on and less about being critical. But here's just kind of a quick snapshot of some of our favorite plays for the season, and it gives a great way here to see how the offense progressed as the year went on. All right, so thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.